The following is a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.
Welcome to Championship Wrestling. Bimbo Jimbo here with the television champion Levi Shapiro and Timeless One. Tonight is the night, the rematch against Dan Joseph. He's coming for that championship again.
See, what you got here, Bimbo, is a classic case of, a lovely, a sweet, a beautiful specimen finding someone better to hold in their arms. And then there comes that awkward situation when you come across the X. And, well, the X is I'm different. I can be better. I can be stronger for you. Well, we're going to remind Mr. Dan Joseph that Loretta's moved on to someone better, to someone stronger, to someone who is going to cuddle her at night and never let go, because things are better when they're with Howdy Price and Levi Shapiro, and we're going right back home under the covers to cuddle and look at the stars, which is a mirrored ceiling at the Price Check Ranch. Good luck, Danny Joseph.
I hope they disinfect that championship. Let's take it to ringside.
The following contest is a singles match scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Phoenix, Arizona, weighing in at 175 pounds, Phoenix's favorite son, E.J. Sparks.
Set for action to kick things off this week on Championship Wrestling. We saw E.J. Sparks last week in the main event. What a match with VSK. Got back to his winning ways, but as we'll talk about in a moment, that was only one part of the story in that main event and the close to last week's episode.
And introducing his opponent from New York City, weighing in at 210 pounds, Patrick Fitzpatrick.
As we touched on in the past, that 490 on the back of his gear, representing what he used to weigh in at, 490 pounds. Alyssa used to be a collegiate football player in a position where you might find a weight like, but even for an offensive lineman, that's enormous.
It certainly is. Organically, once he started wrestling, Patrick Fitzpatrick started to lose a bit of weight, but he was still wrestling for about, 11 years. He wrestled under the moniker of Fat Pat. But when he started losing more and more weight, he realized he didn't have to be any particular size to do what he loved to do.
Still a powerhouse, absolutely. Gonna offer a unique challenge to E.J. Sparks, and Patrick Fitzpatrick has history on this program. He used to be a producer back in the day before heading back to New York, becoming an active competitor. But what I was gonna touch on, E.J. Sparks in the main event gets a big victory over VSK. But in the midst of all that, Blake, we had an absolute monster match, a clash of the Titans with Miguel and Watts that ended in an absolute shocking turn of events.
You know, that was a big deal, but I think the biggest thing to walk away from that is the the swagger EJ Sparks has in his step now. You can come out here and he looks good. He looks like he's coming off a win. And that big kick, he's setting the rhythm for the matchup.
Yeah, roundhouse rhythm perhaps. But again, to touch on Alyssa, Watts had everything going his way. It was just absolute beating the living you-know-what out of Miguel the entire episode, outside, inside, and then apparently joins, here's a cover by Sparks, was handed the mask, and apparently has joined SoCal Distancing, making them more powerful than ever before. Backslide by E.J. Sparks.
SoCal Distancing, such a dangerous factor throughout the United Wrestling Network, even getting more trepidation around the entire locker room, throughout the roster, as they are growing in numbers. Even the smallest addition to their crew is something scary. Who's next?
You got to wonder, what's the agenda for SoCal Distancing? We've seen them just causing havoc, but we don't know why.
Ooh. Look at Patrick Fitzpatrick go here. send in EJ Sparks. Yeah, we don't know what their agenda is. I mean, at one point they threw the PP3 Cup, the illustrious cup, in the Pacific Ocean. I mean, who does that? Total disrespect.
Yeah, such disrespect, such an insult.
Cover by Fitzpatrick.
See, they're so smart and connected that they got to be up to something.
Jam-packed episode coming your way, including our main event. That anticipated rematch between Dan Joseph, the former, still getting used to that, former United Television champion, looking for revenge, looking to regain the gold against timeless Levi Shapiro. That to come in our main event, but right now we're seeing some of that power on display by Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick's doing a fantastic job of keeping the pressure on. As long as he's putting the pressure on EJ Sparks, it's going to be hard for EJ to create space and do a lot of his high-flying and spinning kick attacks.
Suplex, and that arm might have got trapped under there, Alyssa, it looked like.
It did look like that, Todd. And Fitzpatrick, you got to think, you were talking about him having a history of being a producer on the program, but he also has history here inside the ring. He recently faced Chris Dickinson in singles competition, a hard-fought battle. And you got to wonder if that frustration is now being put onto EJ Sparks in the center of this ring.
You got to be tough. You got to have that offensive lineman trench mentality, battle mentality to take on the likes of the Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson. And Fitzpatrick never backs down from a fight. Look at that nice leg trip. I thought it was going to be a drop down, but slides all the way through. Boy, that's the agility that he's gained since dropping a lot of that 490 pounds. Short drop kick into the cover, looking to put him away. Close call.
Very smart tactic by Patrick Fitzpatrick, but you can't discount EJ Sparks as a competitor. He's been on a tear through Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, facing VSK last week. The week before had a huge title opportunity for the Arizona State Championship against Ray Rosas. Now, EJ Sparks firing on all cylinders throughout the United Wrestling Network. He's got to shift the momentum here in this match.
Blake, your thoughts on just the no-nonsense power game of Patrick Fitzpatrick?
He might have been, after that match against Dickinson, he did land some stuff.
Oh, got rolled up, got caught there, went to the well one too many times. Almost got put away.
He did land some stuff, but he might have learned, man, you got to come out and put it on your opponents, just like Dickinson does to people. He's coming out here and bringing the violence to EJ Sparks.
Sparks starts to strike. Just a phenomenal athlete. Follows in again. Does Fitzpatrick. Uh-oh, look out here. Stun gun. And if he immediately goes to the cover, huge upset victory here on Phoenix's favorite son. But so close. It doesn't cost any more. Try again.
Yeah,
that time he went and hooked the leg, though. He's really looking for that pin.
Smart to immediately capitalize, because that stun gun really took all the air out of the sails, the wind out of the sails of EJ Sparks. And now, a follow-up choke here, Blake.
Yeah, he's got that under the chin, too, which is what you really want to look for when you're starting to try and choke guys. I'd like to see EJ try and create a little distance here.
Yeah, we've seen it. He needs that. Oh, there's that question mark kick. Wow.
Right there. He slapped that off, broke the chain, and landed that big shot to the head.
Misdirection play. That kick just comes down. So much force. EJ's got a second win right back in the sails now, and he's smooth sailing, maybe on his way to victory here in this opening contest. What a way to kick things off. Very competitive matchup between EJ and Fitzpatrick. Takes him down.
So much speed, so much agility from both competitors in the ring, and now EJ Sparks looking for the cover. Is this going to be it for EJ Sparks? No.
EJ Sparks is displaying how dangerous he is when he's at striking range. He's got to keep the fight here. He cannot let Fitzpatrick continue to pressure him in and get a hold of him.
You talked about it, Blake. That distance that you talked about has been just what the doctor ordered for EJ Sparks to snap off. A question mark kick, now that short super kick.
Oh.
Nobody home for the roundhouse rhythm. Who's going to get the best out of the scramble? Oh, we see it now, the spark out.
Oh, it's locked in.
Spark out, yes, sir.
Here is your winner, EJ Sparks.
Step 1, spark out. Step 2, tap out. EJ victorious. More to come on Championship Wrestling.
Ready for action in the squared circle.
Stars from around the wrestling world.
And we are witnessing a classic between two of the best.
We have made history here tonight.
Look at this atmosphere, incredible.
We're going to come out here and find out who the real man is. Yeah!
Look at the pomp and circumstance.
From coast to coast and around the globe.
History's going to be made.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. And if you have Medicare, you can get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how you can get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Has your AC busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW, American Residential Warranty.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing, because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty. Home appliance repairs and replacement can cause stress and cost you over $3,000 per year. But ARW has home warranty plans starting at less than $1 a day.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. It was so hot, I called ARW and they came out and fixed it right away.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more. All plans are fully customizable and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get a home security system free with any plan. Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
Call to find out which home warranty plan is right for you.
If you suffer from everyday aches and pains, turn to the solution millions have trusted to help relieve pain for over 16 years. Omega XL is a powerful drug-free natural anti-inflammatory supplement. The secret is it's sourced from green lip mussels found only in New Zealand that are super rich with over 30 healthy fatty acids, shown in decades of research to reduce pain caused by inflammation. It's small and easy to swallow, potent and effective. Call or click now to get our special offer. 2 bottles of Omega XL, a $140 value for only $39.95. But you must act now.
The following contest is a 4-team elimination match. Introducing team number 1 at a combined weight of 415 pounds, the team of VSK and Platinum Max Caster.
This is going to be wild. 4-team elimination tag team affair. And here we see, straight out of Creative Pro, the team of the Hitmaker, Platinum Max Caster, along with VSK. 2 very impressive performers, but haven't gotten wins, maybe with their powers combined.
You know, fun fact, they trained at the same school. They've known each other for years, but this is their first time teaming together.
Introducing team number 2 at a combined weight of 400 pounds, Rock God Ricky Gibson and Freak Nasty Eddie Pearl. 4 minutes of heat.
And Blake, 4 minutes of heat, recently had a shot at the tag team titles, and if it hadn't been for the SoCal distancing, the lights going out, we might be looking at the new United Tag Team Champions.
You know, just because they lost that match doesn't mean that they're out of title contention. A win here tonight can put them right back up there, challenging for the United Tag Team belts.
And introducing team number 3 at a combined weight of 350 pounds, Adriel Noctis and Sketch Wasted Youth.
Wasted Youth recently mixed it up with the Bodega. It was a very competitive tag team match on the short end of that one, but a huge opportunity here to work their way through the ranks, literally. Going to take on 3 other top teams.
What better way to get yourself back into the tag team title picture than to go into a 4-way elimination tag battle with some of the heaviest hitters.
And introducing the 4th and final team at a combined weight of 481 pounds, the King Fat Boy, Papo Esco, and Danny Limelight Rivera, the Bodega.
They don't want it with Papo. They don't want it with Danny. The Bodega's ready to go.
Talk on how important momentum is, Blake. The Bodega, the only team here coming in off of a victory. We mentioned a victory over Wasted Youth. Does that propel them and help them coming in to this matchup confidence-wise?
I believe that they are the favorite to win this matchup here.
We'll see, though. This thing could be a marathon, not a sprint, and we'll see if Papo Esco has got to carry around that body weight. I mean, he's a powerhouse, but as this thing wears on, we'll see how he hangs in there.
That is a great point. I did not think about that. You definitely have to be much more strategic in such a big four-man tag team match.
Eight-man total, four teams. And again, this is not, a one-fall affair. When a member of a team is pinned or forced to submit, their team is out of this thing, eliminated. It will go down to only one team claiming the victory.
Oh, that was a tag, not a chop. Let's just clarify that.
Okay, there you go. Just more rules to be had here. You can tag anybody in at any time. And now we're getting some very interesting news from the back here, Alyssa.
Yeah, it turns out we're just hearing that the implications of this match is going to be the #1 contender for the United World Wrestling Tag Team titles, the winners of this match.
And it looks like these guys want to get 4 minutes of heat out of the ring quickly. Danny Limelight tagged in the Rock God, and when the Rock God went over to Wasted Youth to tag out, they both jumped off the aprons. This should actually be very smart strategy by the teams, going after 4 minutes of heat early on.
Well, and a tag was made to Freak Nasty Eddie Pearl. Look out here. Oh, my gosh, in the opening minutes. Mic drop there by Max Caster, the Hitmaker. Are we going to see our first elimination this quickly? And no. Eddie Pearl finding a way to kick out.
That would have been a big upset, seeing 4 minutes of heat out this quickly. And something else you mentioned about the strategy. You see Papo and Danny Limelight just standing on the side, chilling, conserving energy. They haven't even really been in this matchup yet.
And that's a great point. And Alyssa, Limelight was, but he quickly tagged out. And you might want to stay out there and ride this thing out. Because if you're in the ring, you might eliminate a team, but you might be in danger as well. VSK for the cover, looking to eliminate once again the 4 minutes of heat, and in come Wasted Youth.
Barreling in, the two outcasts that found themselves as teammates have grown so much together as well as on their own as singles competitors. But in this matchup, there's something to be said for the cohesion, totally on the same page.
Anybody tell me who's legal right now?
That's
I want
a
to
great
say
question,
VSK
Todd.
and maybe Freak Nasty.
Oh, look out here, VSK. Double Tope Suicida to the outside. Boy, this is like lucha rules all of a sudden. It's been crazy.
This match is a whirlwind, and I don't know if they know it, but with the tag team title opportunity on the line, rightfully so.
Backstabber there, and we're told that the talent in this matchup were informed right on their way out of the curtain that the stakes have really, the ante has been up, that it's #1 contender, so that's why you can see, I mean, everybody's fighting for their very life in there. Max Caster looking for a neck breaker, and the Swanton as well. What a double team move. Did you mention this team's never teamed together
Never
before?
teamed before, but there's got to be something said for a long friendship, what I spoke to Max Caster about is a kind of a professional rivalry, always trying to prove that he's the best wrestler alive at the sake of the cap champion.
Look out here. Wow. Big slam there by Noctis, and VSK and Caster out of this thing.
And here comes Papo Esco coming in and getting Angel Noctis from the backside.
Boy, he picked his shots, didn't he, Blake?
They did it great. Danny Limelight and Papo did a fantastic job of just hanging.
So 3 teams remain now as VSK and Max Caster have been eliminated after looking extremely impressive in their first outing as a team. I'd love to see more of them at some point.
Would certainly love to see, and hopefully themselves would love to team together again. But look at Papo Esco.
Papo Esco in control. This #1 contender elimination match continues right after this.
Attention! If you've had a hernia surgery after 2006 and suffered from serious side effects such as infection, chronic pain, organ damage, mesh shrinkage, or mesh migration, you could be eligible for financial compensation. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte right now at the number on your screen, or visit meshjustice.com now. Ethicon, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, has withdrawn its PhysioMesh flexible composite mesh from the market. Again, if you've had complications from your hernia surgery after 2006, you could be eligible for financial compensation. We can find out what type of devices were used in your surgery. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte immediately at the number on your screen, or visit meshjustice.com now. You deserve justice, and the call is free. And there is no fee unless we win your case. Call now for your free case evaluation. Again, call the law offices of Wright & Schulte immediately at the number on your screen, or visit meshjustice.com now.
Millions have trusted Omega XL to relieve their pain for the last 15 years.
No amount of money would have me put my reputation on the line to endorse a product. This product works.
Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind anti-inflammatory supplement formulated to help relieve pain caused from inflammation in your back, knees, neck, and joints.
Since I've been taking Omega XL, I feel like a new man. I get up in the morning and I'm ready for the day.
Omega XL is not fish oil. The secret is it's sourced from green-lipped mussels, only found in the pristine waters of New Zealand. It contains a blend of over 30 fatty acids compared to common fish oil. It would take 10 fish oil capsules to get the same benefits of one Omega XL.
Why not spend your money on something that works? I mean, this works.
Omega XL has sold for $70, but today we reduced the price to $39.95. Call now to receive Larry's special offer, a second bottle free, a value of $140 for just $39.95. But you must call now.
And if it didn't work, I wouldn't be backing it.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my passion has always been to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. TV has helped MyPillow become the amazing company that it is today. So my employees and I want to thank you with some of our best prices ever. Go to MyPillow.com right now and click on TV specials. You'll get deep discounts on MyPillows, mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regular $89.99 for only $29.99 with your promo code.
The Bodega finds all new ways to hurt you.
I'm surprised we're not seeing a little more urgency out of Adriel to try and get out of this ring. We have seen him get stuck in the ring with the Bodega before and just takes damage.
Yeah, these two teams have some history, and the Bodega got the better of it. I'm sure he would if he could right now. He's been they talk about the Bodega. They said, we've got everything you want, including a beatdown, and we're hungry.
Certainly hungry indeed. And Danny Limelight just unleashing on Adriel Noctis. Adriel Noctis, such a loner, so reserved, but found some comfort in his tag team partner, the Party Hard Sketch, and reaching out for Sketch, but unable to get to him.
Man, look at this physicality by Danny Limelight. Just a more vicious Danny Limelight than we've ever seen. And you'll remember the Bodega, after the victory, continued to put the boots to these kids.
They certainly did. They're working overtime in the 24/7 Bodega beatdown style, but Adriel Noctis now fighting back.
Well, that was a great flurry of strikes there, and tag is made.
So as I mentioned earlier, the Bodega doing smart strategy, just kind of hanging out at the beginning. Now you see 4 minutes of heat over there, just watching these boys go at it.
You're not kidding.
Recovering.
Yep, they've been getting a great view of the action, that's for sure. But now Sketch into the cover. Boy, it'd be big if you can get the Bodega out of there. That would be a huge step in the right direction to becoming #1 contenders.
And absolutely, as I had spoken to Wasted Youth, they said that their main goal at this point is to get back into the tag team title picture. I'm sure that with just finding out that this is a #1 contender opportunity for the tag titles, they're working with even more steam than ever. But Danny Limelight evading Sketch.
Yeah, and it made a tag in the process. That brings in Eddie Pearl. Look out here. Might be time for a little backstabbing. Somebody call Ozzy.
That's smart by Danny Limelight tagging in one of the guys in 4 minutes of heat. Because now they get to hang out on the side and just watch the other boys go
cover
at it.
made, though. Pearl and Sketch still the two legal competitors in this thing. A backstab is one of those signature moves of many for 4 minutes of heat.
4 minutes of heat, such an old school style. A lot of rock nods. Certainly an old school fashion to their offense.
Hey, you talked in the past, they'll rock you like a hurricane. And look out here, big suplex by Eddie Pearl. And Blake, you mentioned as Pearl goes for the cover, 4 minutes of heat, very fresh. They spent a long time sitting out there on the apron waiting for their opportunity to strike.
I feel bad for Wasted Youth. They have just been taking damage. It's almost been a 2-on-1 by one team and then a 2-on-1 by the other team. Where Sketch and Adriel have been taking some serious damage, whether it's been at the hands of 4 minutes of heat or the Bodega.
Gutsy move by Sketch, though. Catches him with the enziguri. Will he have enough to tag? He does. Elects to go for his partner. So a different strategy here. You see that Wasted Youth, no wasted opportunity. They want to be instrumental. They want to score the eliminations rather than go over there, maybe tag one of the Bodega in. High impact. Pearl might be out here. No, only a count of 2. This has been crazy.
There's got to be something said for Wasted Youth wanting to be the masters of their own fate. They don't want to leave this up to someone from the Bodega to eliminate 4 minutes of heat. They want to do it themselves.
But even if, oh man, you know what? We've had Danny Limelight. You got to be careful what you say. He's very sensitive to our words as of late. You know, when they beat down, look at this, Deposits. Oh my gosh, what a move. There we go, power ballad. And they would have become tag team champions, I believe, had the lights not go out and they take out another team.
Wasted Youth have been eliminated.
Now here we are, the last 2 teams, the Bodega and 4 minutes of heat. I am not surprised to see these 2 teams in the finals.
No doubt about it. Papo Esco took one of the eyes. The big man can't see. That's a weakness on anybody, Blake.
Doesn't matter how big you are. If you lose your breath, you lose your sight, you lose your footing. But now Papo Esco finding his way back to deliver some punishment and a headbutt to Ricky Gibson.
That's why they went for his eyes, because you can't punch Papo in the face and get much of a reaction, but you take his eyes out.
Yeah, no question, but he warded it off. Look at this, and a vicious 12-6 elbow there by Papo Esco. All that strength, all that body weight, and rearranging the face now. Nasty, look at this, fish hooking.
God. Absolutely vicious, so brutal. Papo Esco, I was trying to speak with him before the match. I asked him, hey, where are you from? He said, I'm from the Bodega, don't you worry about it. So guarded, so closed off. He doesn't want you knowing anything.
Yeah, and they've really been physical just with everybody. Interviewers, think of what John Roberts has gone through with these guys.
God, don't envy John Roberts in that position.
You know, and I mentioned Danny Limelight Rivera, just a whole new intensity. Opening up the rib cage there was Papo Esco, and taking that open shot was Danny Limelight. Look at these frequent tags. It might be only a matter of time here if this continues.
Here comes another big double team move by Papo Esco and Danny Limelight.
Scoop and a slam. Limelight now, and then the big headbutt. That's the last thing you need right now if you're Ricky Gibson. Center of the ring, dead to rights, not yet.
Ricky Gibson still alive, still kicking. Oh no, but now Papo Esco wrenching in that lock just around the throat of Gibson.
Ricky Gibson is changing colors, right? Look, his chest a crimson red. He's turning colors after this choke, but finds a way out of there and runs right into a freight train in the form of Papo Esco. Cover now, looking to put him away and become #1 contenders. Only a count of 2. You know, I was saying, Danny Limelight, guys, when they put the boots to Wasted Youth out after the match, Limelight heard me, and he tells me, I go way back with Danny Limelight. And he's like, shut your mouth, TK. This is a different Danny Limelight.
You got to wonder, is it the influence of Papo Esco? You know, Danny Limelight had been having a string of losses. Papo Esco had maybe a little bit of a pep talk, but he brought out a more vicious side of Limelight for sure.
And this is tag team wrestling, Blake, but because of the frequent tags, this has become a 2-on-1 beatdown right now by the Bodega. We'll be back. Can they put him away? We'll find out next.
Has your AC busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW, American Residential Warranty.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty. Home appliance repairs and replacement can cause stress and cost you over $3,000 per year.
But ARW has home warranty plans starting at less than $1 a day.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. It was so hot, I called ARW and they came out and fixed it right away.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
All plans are fully customizable and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get a home security system free with any plan. Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
Call to find out which home warranty plan is right for you.
Do you use Viagra or Cialis? Have you been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 or more a pill for Viagra, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. Stop overpaying for expensive prescriptions. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call now and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for Viagra. Call us anytime, day or night, and start saving big money for the exact same results. Have your credit card ready. Ordering is fast and easy, with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. Call now.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now.
Our #1 contender 4-team elimination match is down to 2, but it might be only one soon, and that might be the Bodega, because Ricky Gibson, the Rock God, is having one hell of a fall from grace right now, courtesy of the Bodega.
Certainly is. The Bodega dealing out ass beatings 24/7. They're always open, and they're hungry.
The Rock God is trying to make his way back to his corner so that he could tag out, but he was unable to. Danny Limelight snatched him up and threw him back over by Papo Esco.
The Rock God is a long, long way from home sweet home. And Papo Esco, that's a heck of a barricade to get back to the friendly corner.
You got to think. 4 minutes of heat. They're not ready to take that long tour bus back home. They're ready to be the United World Tag Team Champion, #1 contenders.
Tag made, and Freak Nasty, he is fresh, and he is all over Danny Limelight. Look at this, flying Enziguri, what a shot. No wasted motion, German suplex releases, and Gibson, where's he finding this from? He takes down the big man, Tim Burr.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall, right?
That might be the first time I've seen Papo Esco knocked off his feet.
We've had our share of earthquakes around here in Southern California recently. That might have been the biggest one. Caltech and the Richter scale going nuts right now after Esco caught the canvas. And unbelievable, Ricky Gibson, man, took such a beatdown. I cannot believe, testament to his heart and will to fight on.
100%. He was ready to fight on. He was ready to rock on for sure.
Yes. Nice elbow drop there by Freak Nasty. Can they put him away while the big man is compromised? Papo Esco not able to make a save there, but still not enough. Credit to Danny Limelight for digging down deep and kicking out.
There's so much on the line right now. As we were informed, these competitors found out on their way out to the ring that this would be for a #1 contender's opportunity at the Tag Team Championships. Everyone's notches got turned up a bit, including Freak Nasty Eddie Pearl looking for that cover.
Almost put him away with the big backbreaker there, Blake. This has been an absolute war of attrition. Two teams by the wayside, only 2 remain. 2 great teams, and the 4 minutes of heat came so close in their bid for the tag team titles with SoCal Distancing. They'd love to earn another shot.
These are 2 of the most vicious teams in our tag team division. 4 minutes of heat in the Bodega. Whoa, full mount here by Danny Limelight and a barrage of punches from the top.
Puerto Rican Pitbull all over him, and pulling him back to the corner. This is sound strategy here. Tag made to Ricky Gibson, perhaps opening the door for a little double teaming right into the north-south.
We're really seeing the value of having smart strategy here by both these teams. These are high-level tag teams, and so that's why we're seeing such smart wrestling inside the ring, keeping them in their corner so they can keep the same opponent in the ring.
Yeah, now it's Gibson really keeping his body between Limelight and Papo Esco, cutting off the ring. Quick tag, double team. Man, 2 great teams going at it here.
Certainly, but Gibson and Pearl have that longevity. They've been working together as a tag team. They finish each other's sandwiches and each other's sentences. But you have a newer tag team in Danny Limelight and Papo Esco, but shoulders down now.
That was an inverted cradle right there. That was nice. That's a collegiate wrestling.
Turns them inside out. Take a helicopter tour of Hollywood into the cover. Yeah, you talk about, finishing this, finishing that. Right now it's Danny Limelight that's frozen there in the center of the ring.
Oh, a Papo Esco. getting a little upset at our referee, who's trying to keep him out of the matchup. Papawesko, I mean, he's not above stooping to any means if it means a tag team title opportunity with Danny Limelight.
Right, you get too hot under the collar, though, you can cost your team a little of that low-risk offense. And still to come, television title main event upcoming. I mean, what a jam-packed episode this has been of Championship Wrestling.
Now, tag made Eddie Pearl legal against Danny Limelight Rivera, but hits the canvas hard. Danny Limelight now fighting for his life to get back to Papawesko. Tag made.
We made it. That's bad news for 4 minutes of heat. Whoever wins this match is going to have to earn it. Look out here. Double team. There it is.
Ooh.
Catch him with it. Can he make the cover? Going for it. Oh, they outlast them all.
All right, there it is.
Here are your winners, the Bodega.
The Bodega etch their way, etch their name in a shot for a tag team title match. Let's take a look back at the end of this thing. And there you see it, that big double team move. La Plomo o Plata. Rack up another victory.
And what a victory indeed, finding out that this would be for the United World Tag Team title opportunity against SoCal Distancing.
And our own John Roberts, I don't envy him again. How does he keep getting this assignment? There, we'll take it away, John Roberts. Good luck.
Thank you, Todd. I don't know who keeps putting me over here with these guys, but Danny, Papo, congratulations. You're the new #1 contenders to the United World Tag Team Championships.
Are you sure? You're damn right! Mi gente! You heard out his sloppy mouth. La Bodega.
Pay attention. It seems like some members of the locker room are not quite understanding me when I say we are everywhere.
Welcome to the new normal.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regularly $89.99, only $29.99 with your promo code. With our 60-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Sleep well, America!
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Attention! If you've had a hernia surgery after 2006 and suffered from serious side effects such as infection, chronic pain, organ damage, mesh shrinkage, or mesh migration, you could be eligible for financial compensation. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte right now at the number on your screen, or visit meshjustice.com now. Ethicon, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, has withdrawn its PhysioMesh flexible composite mesh from the market. Again, if you've had complications from your hernia surgery after 2006, you could be eligible for financial compensation. We can find out what type of devices were used in your surgery. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte immediately at the number on your screen, or visit meshjustice.com now. You deserve justice, and the call is free. And there is no fee unless we win your case. Call now for your free case evaluation. Again, call the law offices of Wright & Schulte immediately at the number on your screen, or visit meshjustice.com now.
Broken refrigerator? $2,500. Busted air conditioning? $4,000. Get an American Residential Home Warranty Plan, and when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown wipe out your savings? Or deal with the headache of finding quality service people?
Their service is great. You can call them 24 hours a day.
ARW is so professional. They handled my claim right away.
Get a home security system free with any plan. Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
Here you see the former United Television champion. He just doesn't look right without that title around his waist. He was such a fighting champion, unlike the current champ, Levi Shapiro. We saw that the shenanigans he and Howdy Price pulled with young Jack Cartwright trying to buy the kid off. They did. They took the money and run. And I hope that Dan Joseph can get the job done and reclaim the gold. And here you see it, flanked by Howdy Price, the reigning and now maybe finally defending United Television champion. Because I'm not going to credit with what he did with Jack Cartwright as a successful title defense.
Absolutely not. Levi Shapiro and Howdy Price paid off Jack Cartwright, and then they beat him down, took the money, made like bananas, and split. It was disgusting.
Yeah, what a bully. But you know what you do with a bully? You out-bully the bully, and I think that's exactly what Dan Joseph is going to try and do here, guys. Main event, United Television title on the line, heated rivalry, and here to set the stage, as only he could do, Adnan Qureshi. Oh boy, might dispense with the pleasantries here.
There's some tension inside of that ring.
All right, referee backing up the challenger here so that we can get this thing kicked off in an official way. Take it away, Adnan.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the United Television Championship. Introducing first, the challenger. From Buffalo, New York, weighing in at 206 pounds, Dan Joseph.
I'm getting that back now. I'm coming. I'm waiting. You do your stuff. I'm going to win that.
And introducing the champion, being accompanied to the ring by Howdy Price. From Richmond, California, weighing in at 210 3/4 pounds, he is the United Television Champion, Timeless Levi Shapiro.
Now Howdy Price likes what he sees. There he is, shameless Levi Shapiro, putting the title on the line. I'm sure he wouldn't if he didn't have to. How many times did Dan Joseph give Shapiro shot after shot at the title?
Dan Joseph, he's even said it himself, he granted Levi Shapiro rematch after rematch after rematch, and he never backed down. But you can see it's a different energy in Dan Joseph. Such focus. Usually he's very, very loud, very excited, but he is coming in hot.
Yeah, and Blake, you mentioned that as well. How is the mentality different when you come in as a challenger versus being the incumbent champion?
You know, I'm not sure this is the average challenger versus champion, because I think the challenger still kind of feels like he is the champion. He didn't really lose that match. If anything, he should have gotten the pinfall.
Oh, yeah, he had him down after the long way down for 8 or 9 seconds. You know, referee out of position, not seeing it. Here we go.
What I will say, though, is you can tell that there's a much different Dan Joseph in the ring right now. He's not as playing, fun, and energetic. He's coming in, he's serious. He's looking like he wants to get his hands on Levi Shapiro. And Levi does not want to wrap up with him.
And you can see Dan even patting the hand of Levi Shapiro, probably checking to see if it's loaded or not.
I would like to see Dan Joseph try and calm down a little right here. We see the frustration on his face, but he cannot get overly aggressive and do something stupid, particularly jumping outside the ring and potentially getting a 2-on-1 by Howdy Price.
That's an excellent point. But at the same time, I don't think you want to waste too much time in there with the champion, because you don't want to open that door of possibility for that glove to get loaded, for Howdy Price to become a factor. I think Dan Joseph needs to go primetime live style here and try and put him away in the early going. Champion sends him in, nobody home. And the difference here, too, guys, the challenger saying it's a wrestling match. The difference here, too, guys, you have to keep in mind is now the championship advantage is on the side of Levi Shapiro. He can get himself counted out. He can get himself disqualified and hold on to the gold. And don't think that they don't know it.
I think this is all a ploy by Levi and Howdy to get Dan Joseph out of his game plan, to frustrate him and make him do something stupid. And I hope Dan doesn't do it, because I would love to see that title get wrapped around his waist again.
Dan Joseph, you can tell that it's just been eating away at him since he lost that title to Levi Shapiro in such a controversial fashion as well.
We saw him have a moment with the title, and the referee brought it over to him at the beginning of the matchup. He definitely wants that belt back.
Dan Joseph again asking the champion, still bizarre to say that. Are you ready now? Can we do this? Can we have a wrestling match? And again, look at this, heading for the sidelines. Just stalling tactics here in a big way, guys. This is ridiculous.
Dan Joseph has to be careful not to manhandle
look
him.
at
Oh my
him!
gosh!
Incoming crossbody by the challenger, and now he's all over. Timeless Levi Shapiro.
I'm worried about Dan Joseph manhandling the official. He's going right to town on Levi Shapiro, choking him out with the towel from Howdy Price.
You're right, though, Blake. The challenger better be careful. He's flirting with disaster. You don't want to get counted out. You don't want to get disqualified. Rolls in to break the count and keeping the full court press here. It's all Dan Joseph in the early going.
This has not been a professional wrestling match. This has been a fist fight. He's doing damage right now.
Well, Dan Joseph finally being able to get his hands on Levi Shapiro, who's been rolling out of the ring and trying to keep his distance the whole time. He's making it count.
Introducing him to the apron there after some bone-jarring knees to the ribs. Double axe handle. Dan Joseph absolutely measured him with that shot right on the spine, Blake.
I don't blame him. He's angry. He's not happy about all the chance he gave Levi Shapiro just to get done the way that he did in that last matchup.
Dan Joseph is completely incensed and obsessed here, guys, with that, getting that championship back.
Dan Joseph, like a man possessed, just shoving the title into the face of Levi Shapiro.
Breaks the plane again, guys, just enough to stay on top of the champion, but more of this title matchup has happened on the outside than the inside. Hits the post hard and heavy.
I'm liking Dan letting the psycho out, man. He's getting a little crazy. He's doing damage to Levi, and he's looking like he's going to win back this championship title.
But he hasn't lost himself completely, still keeping an awareness of the referee's count, rolling back in to break it when he needs to, and now firmly back inside the ring, which is the only place he can win this title back.
That's right. Trying to bring him back in the hard way now is Dan Joseph, looking maybe for a vertical suplex, springboards him in. What power! Dynamic suplex into the cover, trying to make history, trying to regain the gold. Not yet.
You can bring him in the easy way or you can bring him in the hard way, and Dan Joseph opted to bring Levi back into the ring the hard way.
Yeah, made him pay the price as well. And now we'll send him to the outside. Your thoughts on this, Blake?
I was hoping to see him put him in the corner, do some more damage, or a place where he can't move around and escape, where Dan Joseph can just pound on him. Outside the ring, he cannot win this match.
Can't win the match, and you got a lot of factors out there, including the rotund one there, Howdy Price.
Howdy Price is going to do everything in his power to bring it back to the Price Check Ranch.
Back inside the ring, challenger looking to put him away. Not yet. This championship main event continues right after this.
Millions have trusted Omega XL to relieve their pain for the last 15 years.
No amount of money would have me put my reputation on the line to endorse a product. This product works.
Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind anti-inflammatory supplement formulated to help relieve pain caused from inflammation in your back, knees, neck, and joints.
Since I've been taking Omega XL, I feel like a new man. I get up in the morning and I'm ready for the day.
Omega XL is not fish oil. The secret is it's sourced from green-lipped mussels, only found in the pristine waters of New Zealand. It contains a blend of over 30 fatty acids compared to common fish oil. It would take 10 fish oil capsules to get the same benefits of one Omega XL.
Why not spend your money on something that works? I mean, this works.
Omega XL has sold for $70, but today we reduced the price to $39.95. Call now to receive Larry's special offer, a second bottle free, a value of $140 for just $39.95. But you must call now.
And if it didn't work, I wouldn't be backing it.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. And if you have Medicare, you can get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how you can get your own continuous glucose monitor or CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Attention! If you've had a hernia surgery after 2006 and suffered from serious side effects such as infection, chronic pain, organ damage, mesh shrinkage, or mesh migration, you could be eligible for financial compensation. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte right now at the number on your screen. Ethicon, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, has withdrawn its PhysioMesh flexible composite mesh from the market. Call the law offices of Wright & Schulte immediately at the number on your screen or visit meshjustice.com now.
Welcome back, everyone, to Championship Wrestling. The United Television title on the line. Two bitter rivals going toe-to-toe, and the champion is getting rocked by the challenger.
Dan Joseph has been so fired up this entire match, and now rolling over, hooking the legs to bring back the title. No!
Man, he had both those legs hooked, and he had Levi rolled up. I thought he might have been getting that 3 count.
Dan Joseph's had a couple close calls to put him away. That springing vertical suplex earlier. Now the high impact, high intensity. And look out here, big swinging slam. Deposits the champ right in the center of the ring, dead to rights, and drops the elbow as well. And again, high elevation elbow drop. The challenger on top of his game.
Don't get distracted, Dan. Don't get distracted.
Well, how do you not get distracted when you get tripped up?
Wow, Howdy Price now getting beaten with his own hat, but now a drop kick from Levi Shapiro.
I wish Howdy Price would roll out of here like a tumbleweed into the cover, and a close call the other way now. And talk about aggression, guys.
That dangerous vice-like grip of Levi Shapiro. Kind of wrench the head off of Dan Joseph.
As bad as Dan Joseph wants to regain the title, that's exactly how bad the champion wants to hold on. Float over after the suplex. Count of 2. What a match. United Television title hanging in the balance. Two great competitive rivals. And oh, you got to watch out. So many little dirty tricks. A little bit of a fish hook there. Rearranging the face.
Dan Joseph was starting to really do some damage to Levi Shapiro, and he allowed himself to get distracted just for a split second by Howdy Price. And my, the tides have turned since then.
Which we got to imagine that's Howdy's MO. You get the former champion distracted enough, and Levi Shapiro can capitalize in however way he deems necessary.
This is what I was talking about, getting overly emotional. We saw Dan Joseph frustrated, angry at the beginning of the match. Then when Howdy grabbed his leg, he turned around and let it out on Howdy, and it's now put him in a bad position.
Well, and you got to wonder, I mean, their most recent, matchup in which Levi Shapiro made history, a day that will live in infamy on Championship Wrestling, was around 5 weeks ago. And Dan Joseph, you remember, he hit the corner so hard a couple times, took that loaded glove with a big punch. The claw. Is Dan Joseph, even though weeks have passed, in your estimation, Blake, is there any chance that the challenger's a complete 100% for this matchup?
6 weeks is a short amount of time between such big matchups, particularly after getting hit by that loaded glove. We saw Dan was knocked out. He wasn't just hurt, he was out. We've got to assume that he's still a little bit concussed from that, despite it being about 5 weeks ago.
Champ looking to put him away here after pulling the rug out from the challenger. Your thoughts on that? Dan Joseph came out all guns blazing, but now some of the starch has been taken out of him here, Alyssa.
Well, Blake was even touching on the fact you can't get too emotional. I think there's something to be said for being focused, being driven, being passionate to reclaim that championship, but Dan Joseph can't let his emotions get the best of him in this match.
Big shots here. I would think that emotion in excess, Blake, can really be exhausting and can, really blow up a competitor that much earlier than they might, even just from the punishment they're taking. Look out, the timeless one looking, but look, it catches him. Nice backbreaker there by the challenger.
all, but now Levi in precarious position, taking the big shoulders from Dan Joseph in the corner.
But your thoughts, emotion, Blake, is it help or hindrance or both?
You know, it can do a combination of the two. It depends how much you let it affect you and how severe it is. As we saw with Dan Joseph, he was really angry, and it ended up allowing him to get distracted and has now put him in the deep end.
Nice counter boot, flying clothesline, one of his signatures, one of his favorites. And look at the champion gets back up only to get knocked down yet again. The champ in trouble. Everything that he's got.
Dan Joseph just had Levi Shapiro on the run, trying to become a two-time United Television champion.
I think he was looking for that long way down. A move that should have won him the match last time. Dropping levels here. Boy, we've got a real
cradle.
Looks like a rugby scrum here. Comes up with a somewhat of a swinging fisherman suplex. Both guys exhausted. Oh, come on! Come on! Foot on the rope. Courtesy of Howdy Price. Get his grubby hands out of there.
Wow, Howdy Price at one point to you as an official just decide it's been too much. He's got to get out of here.
Pays off, uses those grubby hands to pay off Jack Cartwright. Now uses them to put the boot of his so-called champion on the rope and preserve his chances in this championship main event.
We can see the frustration again on Dan Joseph's face. What has he got to hit him with to get this pinfall? He almost had it with that slam until Howdy Price got himself in the matchup.
Oh boy, both I think going for the same thing there. And imagine the collision, what that'll do to your ribs, but momentum. I think Dan Joseph just had a little more speed going into it, got the better of it.
Both these guys are already gasping for air, and they're digging deep and running on fumes. And I think that might have taken some of the last of each of their gas tanks out.
And now look at this, Howdy Price again, Alyssa, reaching. What are they gonna do?
Well, I don't know what Dan Joseph has planned. He's got finding his way up Levi Shapiro. Levi Shapiro looking for a little bit of comfort, and Howdy Price, maybe some strategy or something to load that glove.
Big shot there, the double knees, but as fate would have it, unable to capitalize is the challenger because it propelled Levi Shapiro, the champion, right out to the outside. And again, as you've documented, guys, Dan Joseph can't win the title out there.
I'd like to see Dan, when he's inside the ring, staying attached to Levi a little bit better. He damages him, and he gives him just enough space to get away or for Howdy to come in. If Dan can keep him in the middle of the ring and continue to chain wrestle him inside the middle of the ring, he might be able to walk away with the win.
Dan Joseph letting his emotions get the better of him, turned his back momentarily there on the champion, focused on Howdy Price. Outside, inside, looking for the German suplex. Putting on the brake. Look at Howdy's holding on to him. Howdy's holding on to him. He's keeping the grasp, and now another. Oh no! Come on!
Oh no!
Here is your winner and still United Television Champion, Levi Shapiro.
Unbelievable. Again, another travesty as you bring out a black light and you find fingerprints, the grubby handprints of Howdy Price are all over this championship matchup.
And they were all over the ring, as the ropes, as he tried to keep Levi Shapiro in place against Dan Joseph, securing pinfall.
Oh man, Heartbreak City for the former champion who got absolutely robbed last time. And again, Dan Joseph, where does he go from here? The embattled former champion with another heartbreak.
It was scandalous, it was egregious, it was highway robbery, it was wrong. But however you slice it, my broadcast partner Levi Shapiro is walking out still the television champion. That's going to do it for this edition of Championship Wrestling presented by West Coast Pro Wrestling. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.